In the Battle of Ager Sanguinis, also known as the Battle of the Field of Blood, the Battle of Sarmada, or the Battle of Balat, Roger of Salerno's Crusader army of the Principality of Antioch was annihilated by the army of Ilghazi of Mardin, the Artuqid ruler of Aleppo, on June 28, 1119. Background: when Ridwan of Aleppo died in 1113, there was a period of peace, at least for a few years. However, Roger of Salerno, who was ruling Antioch as regent for Bohemond II, did not take advantage of Ridwan's death. Likewise, Baldwin II, Count of Edessa, and Pons, Count of Tripoli, looked after their own interests and did not ally with Roger against Aleppo. In 1115, Roger defeated a Seljuk Turkish invasion force led by Bursik bin Bursik at the Battle of Sarman. In 1117, Aleppo came under the rule of the Artuqid Artabig Ilghazi. In 1118, Roger captured Azaz, which left Aleppo open to attack from the Crusaders. In response, Ilghazi invaded the Principality in 1119. Roger marched out from Arta with Bernard of Valence, the Latin Patriarch of Antioch. Bernard suggested they remain there, as Arta was a well-defended fortress only a short distance away from Antioch, and Ilghazi would not be able to pass if they were stationed there. Roger camped in the pass of Sarmada, while Ilghazi besieged the fort of Al-Athlab. The battle. Ilghazi was also waiting for reinforcements from Totokan, the Burid emir of Damascus, but he too was tired of waiting. Using little used paths, his army quickly surrounded Roger's camp during the night of June 27. The prince had recklessly chosen a campsite in a wooded valley with steep sides and few avenues of escape. Roger's army of 700 knights and 3,000 foot soldiers, including Turcopoles, hastily formed into 5 divisions. These drew up in a V-shaped line with the tip farthest from the Muslim battle array. From left to right, the divisions were commanded by Robert of St. Lo, Prince Roger, Guy de Fresnel, Geoffrey the Monk and Peter. Meanwhile, Roger told off a 6th division under Renaud Mansour to protect the Antiochian rear. As the Muslim army waited, the Qadi Abu al-Fadl ibn al-Khashab, wearing his lawyer's turban but brandishing a lance, rode out in front of the troopers. At first they were incredulous at being harangued by a scholar, but at the end of his passionate evocation of the duties and merits of the jihad warrior, according to Kamal ad-Din, the contemporary historian of Aleppo, these hardened professionals wept with emotion and rode into battle. That morning, June 28, the battle was begun by an archery duel between the Antiochian infantry, posted in front of the knights, and the Turkish bowmen. The Crusader army was at first successful when the right-hand divisions of Peter and Geoffrey the Monk attacked and defeated the Artuqids opposed to them. Guy de Fresnel's centre division had some success also, but the battle was soon decided on the left flank. Robert of St. Lo and the Turcopoles were driven back into Roger's division, disrupting it. A north wind blew dust in the faces of the Antioch knights and footmen, confusing him further. Soon, Artuqid flanking forces enveloped the Crusaders. During the fighting, Roger was killed by a sword in the face at the foot of the great jeweled cross which had served as his standard. The rest of the army was killed or captured. Only 2 knights survived. Renaud Mansour took refuge in the fort of Sarmada to wait for King Baldwin, but was later taken captive by Ilghazi. Among the other prisoners was likely Walter the Chancellor, who later wrote an account of the battle. The massacre led to the name of the battle, Ager Sanguinis, Latin for the Field of Blood. Aftermath. The battle proved that the Muslims could defeat a Crusader army without the help of the Seljuks. However, Ilghazi soon went on an alcoholic binge and did not advance to Antioch, where Patriarch Bernard was organizing whatever defense he could. Even so, because of the loss of the Antiochian field army, Athrib, Zerdana, Sarman, Ma'arit al-Numan and Kaf Artab rapidly fell into Muslim hands. Ilghazi was defeated by Baldwin II of Jerusalem and Count Pons at the Battle of Hab on August 14, and Baldwin took over the regency of Antioch. Subsequently, Baldwin recovered some of the lost towns. Even so, the defeat at the Field of Blood left Antioch severely weakened, and subject to repeated attacks by the Muslims in the following decade. Eventually, the principality came under the influence of a resurgent Byzantine Empire. The Crusaders regained some of their influence in Syria at the Battle of Ager 6 years later in 1125. The description Ager Sanguinis is possibly a biblical reference to the field purchased by Judas with the money he had been given to betray Christ. The Acts of the Apostles records that Judas killed himself in the field, and it was thus known as H. Demic in Aramaic, and Ager Sanguinis in the Vulgate.